Hi, and welcome to episode 4 of This Is Manchego. If you're like me, you found out that there's a whole deep world of cheese to explore, and this channel is kind of a personal journal of my findings that I'd like to share with you. Did you know that I actually really can't stand mold, but for some reason I'm really drawn to cheese, and even blue cheese? It's really weird, right? In this episode, we will be reviewing a Gouda cheese that I had picked up from Whole Foods. Its tan color and firmer texture reminded me of a Manchego. There were a lot of different aspects that made this cheese very unique. I haven't tried a lot of Gouda before, and the ones that I've tried were generally of the softer variety, so I was in for a bit of a surprise when I found this cheese to have not only a very firm texture, but also a very unique flavor profile. So with that, let's review this cheese. This is a review of the Robusto Kaasaggio Gouda. I hope I said that right. First, let's look at some of the details of this cheese. First, this cheese is branded as Kaasaggio, so I'm thinking that that's the creamery that made this cheese. In terms of family or grouping, I would definitely put this in the category of other Gouda. It comes from cow's milk, and while I don't have any info on this cheese as to how much it was aged, it had a very, very firm texture, which has me guessing this was aged probably for more or less 6 months or more. Second, let's move into the texture and the scent of this cheese. First, the rind is definitely wax, and much like Manchego, you probably shouldn't eat the waxy rind. Texture-wise, this turned out to be one of the most firm cheeses I've tried to date, and it took a significant amount of effort for me to cut it. As you can see, it is very firm, and I would categorize it as being in the hard texture category, which is the firmest of the ratings for texture. While the cheese itself doesn't have a very strong scent, I would actually consider it slight when it comes to scent. It does have a very unique bread-like or even yeasty beer-like smell. This is very, very different from most other cheeses I've tried thus far, and not what I anticipated from a Gouda. Finally, let's move into the taste test. I found this cheese had quite a number of characteristics. It's salty, but also has some caramelness to it. It also has a touch of sweetness and also a touch of buttery flavor as well, but definitely the salty and caramel type flavors stood out the most. This cheese also had some very unique crunchy bits embedded in it that would create this kind of crunchy pop when you found it within the cheese. So a couple of conclusions. The flavor of this cheese appeals to me due to it having a salty flavor combined with a caramel type flavor in there, not to be confused with a sweet flavor actually. So this is something that I'm actually quite keen on. It's a really hard cheese, so you'll need a good sharp knife to cut through it. Also, with the flavors being quite strong, this is something you may not be able to eat a lot of at the same time, so I recommend having a drink with it. While it is great to eat on its own, I could see it being eaten together with a thinly flavored cracker to offset its saltiness. Overall, I found this to be a unique take on Gouda, and I personally do like it, and will probably be grabbing another slice next time I'm at Whole Foods again. Probably though with maybe a drink as well to go with it. That's it for today. Thanks for watching This Is Manchego. We'll see you next time, and if you want me to try something else, leave a comment below.